That's true.
Where is Balake?
Here, help me move this bad boy.
Blake. What? Do you want to go to war, Balake? I'm for real. Ron.
And this is going to be on their property, not public property.
What's happening?
So
there's all this sound coming. Hey guys. Sorry, I'm hearing all sorts of sounds coming from everywhere. Aaron is here, everyone. Welcome back for more SPTV, where every day is a great day not to be in a cult. All right. I wanted to fire up the live stream, do a bit of a chat, hangout, live Q&A. I'll tell you, the last several weeks, it is so hard for me to try and do videos on Saturday, Sunday, or even Monday because of how unbelievably exhausting the Friday night protests are. There's something about the 90-degree heat, being on my feet for 3 hours, which has become 3.5 hours, which has become 4 hours, that I just wake up the next morning almost completely unable to get out of bed, just due to soreness. And so, yeah, that's why I haven't been doing videos on the weekend. It's why I've not even really been doing stuff on Monday. I mean, I even went through the protest video, put in all the timestamps that I wanted to. And normally what I would do on the weekends is spend the time pulling out a bunch of content to edit into shorts, to upload to YouTube and to upload to TikTok. I didn't even do that, you guys. That's how lazy I've been. Let me just say hi to a bunch of people. Of course, hello to all my wonderful moderators. Hello, Cheryl. I see Lori Marie and Karen McCourt and SP Danny, of course. And hey, Heather, Eyes on the State. Good to see you. Eyes on the State was protesting with us this Friday. It was awesome. Church of Scientology. Awesome to see you. Bat Goat, hello. And of course, Erica. You know what? I've been meaning to... Let me go over to my actual stream. Give me just a second. Uh-oh. Okay, how do I do this? Where'd you go? And there we go. And there we go. Okay, good. Erica's a moderator now. Oh, before I forget, I have to thank more people who've sent more protest supplies. Christy, of course, thank you. You know who you are. Abigail, of course, thank you. And Suzanne, I don't have permission to necessarily read last names, so I won't. Suzanne, thank you so much. John Shastowski, of course, thank you for all the yummy treats. And you know, there's one here from Denmark. I have to wonder if that's Dave's Deep Dives. It doesn't say. But if it was you, Dave, thank you so much. People have been sending so much spray chalk, so much of the holly powder, which is like the cornstarch colored powder that they use for like the color runs, and also incredibly sending the water barriers, which was incredible. I'm gonna have to remove the water barriers from the wish list because I've been sent 3 entire packages of the water barriers, which is plenty and which is amazing. Let's see. Tom says, great channel. I was at a used bookstore yesterday and came across a large red Scientology book with bulletin in the title. What was that? Holy cow, Tom. I've never seen those at used bookstores. Those are one of Scientology's technical volumes. I think there's, by memory, at least 13 of those big, fat, giant, legal size volumes, leather-bound volumes. There's at least 13 of them in the chronological series. And I believe there's then 4 extra volumes known as like the subject volumes. I've never seen those in a used bookstore. That's incredible. If you can send me a photo, if you have one, that would be amazing. Oh, yeah. So the protest supplies. I'm going to take the water barriers off of the wish list. Nobody needs to send any more water barriers. And one of the things that was really cool about the experiment this past Friday and the number of people who showed up, guys, at least 15 brand new people showed up, young guys and girls, is to see how much chalk we're actually going to go through when a lot of people show up and want to help. And we went through a lot of chalk. It also taught me a lesson. I need to separate out the special expensive bottles of spray chalk from the cheaper bottles of spray chalk. The cheaper stuff that you can get, well, from Amazon or Walmart or Target or whatever, those are maybe $1 per can, $1.25 per can, $1.50 at the most. There's some extra special cans that I put on the wish list that are more like $15 to $20 a can. And I made a bit of a mistake of not completely separating those. And some of those got used up. But, you know, small price to pay for running an experiment and having over 15 brand new people show up and help us. It was absolutely incredible. So I guess what I'm saying is we need a bunch of spray chalk. We need a bunch of spray chalk. You can never send too much. It will always go to good use. And yeah. Oh, you know what? I never thanked Nancy Stitchin. Nancy Stitchin sent a whole bunch of money for protester food and drinks, for food and drinks for the protesters. And that's been going to good use. So thank you so much, Nancy. I appreciate that. And let me see. Yeah, as you know, I'm going to make it a point to keep these little you know, when you send someone something from Amazon, you can always leave a little note. So as long as you send me a note and as long as you have your name on there, I will give you a big old thank you. Let's see what else. I actually want to share with you. I'm going to share with you a couple clips from the protest. I'll tell you one of the things that really had me worked up, not after this most recent Friday, but the one before, was the feeling that tensions in the protest were escalating to a point where it seemed like trouble was going to come. And I definitely, not this Friday, but the Friday before, like ran, you know, they were sending out like 10 Sea Org members with buckets and dumping water on us. And there's something very frustrating about having Scientology get away with what, in my opinion, is clearly illegal activity and having the police not do anything about it. And when I say illegal activity, you can't just walk up to someone in public and pour water on them. Like that's a form of assault or battery. You can't just do that. And Scientology literally poured hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of gallons of water right in our direction, even though we had our property sitting on the public sidewalk. And I think I ran up the stairs at one point and knocked over some of their 5-gallon buckets before they could throw that water our way. And I knew at the very least that was trespassing. I assumed they would try to make some sort of a complaint about, I don't know what else they could complain about. It's not vandalism. It's not damage. It's not, I never came into physical contact with a Sea Org member. So, but it definitely felt like we got to figure out how to keep tensions from escalating. So that's why Friday night was so fun. We turned it into a beach themed party, and we went out there with pool toys and bathing suits and towels. And I wore my big giant beach hat with the microphone clipped to it, like in my Hawaiian shirt and my board shorts and my water socks, and intentionally going out there looking very silly and having fun with it. And also I felt like our interactions with the police were very productive and positive. I felt like the police were being straight up with us. And at one point, the police escorted Scientology's, what they call their security pro, which means a hired non-Scientologist security official. That's their pro. In Sea Org language, that's kind of what that means when you hire a pro. It means an outside person. Not just a non-Sea Org member, but in many cases a non-Scientologist. And there's this guy who has been Scientology's hired security pro. We've never known his name, so we call him Joey Meatballs. He's always got his face covered with a mask. He's always got sunglasses on. He really, really, really does not want us to know who he is. I've gotten footage of the plate of whatever car he drives, but I've never tried to have anyone run that plate or anything like that. So we really have never known who he is. So at one point, the police escorted, it turns out his name is Ricardo, escorted Ricardo, Scientology's security pro, over to us on the other side of the street. It was almost like a child. I felt like a child at the principal's office, and they're like, "Aaron, the gentleman has something he would like to say to you." And he came over to officially, verbally issue me trespass warnings for the Fort Harrison Hotel and for the Flag Building. I want to show you that clip. It was pretty remarkable. In my opinion, one thing that made it remarkable is it's the first time the police ever made anyone from Scientology do that. In the past, Clearwater Police Officer Garrett Banks, who works extra duty for Scientology. In the past, Officer Banks has always come out and issued us trespass warnings verbally on behalf of Scientology, even for properties no one has ever been on. And that's always been very confusing to us. One, why are you doing their job for them? And two, how can you do that to properties we've never been on? Very weird stuff. So I thought it was interesting that the police escorted Ricardo over to us and made him give us the trespass warning himself. I don't really know what to make of this. Is that the police officer's way of being like, we're not getting involved in your drama. We're not doing your bidding for you. If you want this done, you're going to have to do it yourself. We'll come, we'll watch, we'll do what we have to do, but we're not going to do anything more than what we have to do. And you're going to do a little bit of the heavy lifting here. So Ricardo came over and he issued me a trespass warning for both properties and made it very, very clear. This means if you trespass again, you can be arrested. Okay, fair enough. The police then came over, or one of the lieutenants came over and spoke with me privately and said, listen, we just want to be clear. We basically, I'm paraphrasing. He's basically said to me, we do not want to have to arrest you or anyone, which is why we just want to be really, really, really clear with you what they can and cannot do and what we will and will not do. And the lieutenant basically said, the property line is right here. It's kind of like right in the middle of the entryway. And he said, basically, is that their property? Yes, that is their property. However, we want you to know, we will not be responding to any calls or requests to have you or anyone else arrested for crossing that imaginary property line in the middle of the entryway. We, however, will have no choice but to honor their request to have you arrested for trespassing if you go on their stairs. I said, that's fair. I said, I got no objection to that. I mean, that's fair. And I said, now you're sure about that? Because you realize the property line is right here. And I've been doing my best to not cross that property line. You're telling me I can go up to the stairs. He's like, I'm telling you what we will and will not do. We will not do anything unless you step on those stairs. I said, fair enough. That sounds good to me. So I thought that was a really good interaction. It just felt, it felt to me last night that the wrong thing to do would be for me to try and give the cops a hard time. Because what happened the previous week? Yeah, the previous week it was a little rough with the police. Okay, and then what happened? Oh yeah, I don't know how many of you guys saw Scientology's water cannons. So here's what I want to do, and I got other things I want to talk about tonight as well, and of course we'll take a bunch of questions and stuff like that. But I want to show you Scientology's water cannons, and I am dedicated to trying to figure out how to get them to turn on these water cannons because I have got to see what kind of horsepower they're working with. They did not turn their water cannons on when we were out there on Friday. They did a bunch of other stuff, but they did not turn on the water cannons. Okay, let me make sure this earpiece is working. Earpiece is working. Okay, we're good there. Okay, do I have the audio on this on? Okay, I'm going to share this. For now, I'm going to keep the audio off, though, because I just want to be able to scroll through. Look how much fun I'm having there. Okay, let me show you the water cannons. Oh, first of all, look, Scientology covered the entire emblem of the flag building that is on public property with plywood. And they nailed the plywood together with metal fasteners. They screwed it together with metal fasteners. And they put some thick plastic sheathing underneath that plywood. That plywood is on public property. And so we called the police. Like, they basically created a dangerous obstruction on public property. And the police acknowledged that very well may be a violation of the law. But and they were going to have to investigate it. And they took my complaint, and they said what Scientology is claiming is that they have some sort of right of maintenance on that area. And so therefore, according to Scientology, that justifies them putting up that obstruction on public property to prevent us from chalking it. In other words, it sounds like they're arguing that for them, it's preventative maintenance. It's not totally clear exactly what their argument is, but the way the police explained it is they have the responsibility and the right and the duty to maintain that area, and therefore they can take measures to keep us from chalking that area. And you go, but why didn't they try to keep us from chalking the other half of the emblem? And my guess is because they thought they could easily have us arrested if we chalked the other half of the emblem. So they want us to try and chalk the other half of the emblem. They're like, make our day. Try to chalk the other half of the emblem, but the half that's on public property, we're going to have to prevent you from doing it because you're legally allowed to do it. Well, you can't really prevent us from doing something we're legally allowed to do, in my opinion, and the police are investigating. So, yes, that was probably about 1,000 pounds of plywood and fastenings and whatnot. And I think I go and I want you to see their water cannons because it's pretty hilarious. All right. Do I go over to the water cannons? I know I do. Dadgummit. Dadgummit. Okay. This is when about 10 protesters show up. Come on now. Where's the water cannons? I think I even did little timestamps here. Bear with me, folks. Okay. I think later... Rainy day. Oh, water cannons. Okay, let's go to 11:30. Okay. We got our pool toys out there. All right, check it out. Check it out, guys. These are Scientology's anti-protester water cannons. They've got these things very securely hooked up to these stair rails, and those are hardwired into the high pressure firefighting lines that are in the building. And there's one on the other side too. Yeah. So, and Erica, I see Erica's in the chat. Erica, remember when we were wondering in those photos that we were looking at of what those blue taped off squares were? I think those blue taped off squares they were marking off the landing zone. It was either, I think those were the landing zones for each water cannon. Because you'll notice the water cannons are going to cross each other, and both of the landing zones, I think they calibrated them so that the water cannons land right at the edge, but inside their side of the property line. And that's what those taped off squares were the landing points for each water cannon. Okay, so that was cool. Okay, now let me find the timestamp for Joey Meatballs, aka Ricardo, coming to have us trespassed. Ricardo, no, that was different. Cops arrived saying bye. Scientology trespasses us. 111:42. Okay. And now I've got to put up the volume on this. Okay, here we go.
Let's see what's happening. What's that? Who are you? Who are you? Who is this guy? You're the security guard for who? I can't hear you, sir. Sir, I can't hear you. Sir, I can't hear you. You're wearing a mask. Sir, I can't hear you. Sir, I can't hear you.
I literally couldn't hear him. I wasn't just trying to be belligerent. Like, I literally could not hear him. And I want you guys to know, do you guys agree with me? Afterwards, I was like, dude, this seemed like this guy was actually traumatized for having to come over and talk to us. Like, it seems like he was not prepared for that. I mean, look how far he goes to try to protect his identity. I don't think he ever thought the police were going to make him come and get that close to us and speak with us at length. I really think, let me know if you guys feel the same way.
So officially, if you commit trespass in the future, you will be subject to arrest. No one's trespassing. Here at 2:15.
You can't arrest anybody.
I cannot arrest, but the officers will.
What's your name?
My name is Ricardo.
Ricardo.
That's what you need to know. I'm a security pro here for the church. I'm an agent of the church, and you've been forewarned.
You've been forewarned.
Thank you, Ricardo.
Okay.
Thank you,
You will be
Ricardo.
subject to arrest, trespass here at 215 or 210 South Fort Harrison.
Thank you, Ricardo. It's good to finally meet you after
You're welcome.
all these months.
Nice to meet you.
If you ever need help leaving Scientology, you can contact the SPTVfoundation.org.
Okay, now this is the part that I wanted to share with you. I'm sorry to interrupt it just when it gets to the part. But so here's the thing. So for me, I know this guy's not in Scientology. I know he's not a Scientologist. I'm saying this anyway to him because when I turn this into a short and I turn it into a clip and I publish it on YouTube and I publish it on TikTok, it's an excellent example and an excellent promo piece of promoting the SPTV Foundation and the help that we can provide to people escaping from Scientology. And the internet isn't really going to know or care as they watch this clip that this guy is a hired security pro from Scientology and not actually a Scientologist. I also thought it would be funny to see how he responded to the offer that we would help him escape from Scientology if he needed the help. Watch how long this goes on for. Why does he not walk away? I cannot for the life of me understand why he sat there or stood there with police officers surrounding us, listening to everything I had to say about this. All right, here we go.
Get you a good job and need help leaving Scientology. Thank you, Ricardo. It's good to finally meet you after all these months.
Nice to meet you.
If you ever need help leaving Scientology, you can contact the SPTVfoundation.org. We can get you a good job anywhere in the country. We can get you your own place to stay. If you know of any Sea Org members who are trying to escape, you can reach out to us at contact@the SPTVfoundation.org. And we're willing to help any Sea Org members who are trying to escape and are disconnected from their family and don't have any money to get home or to go anywhere else. Is that okay, Ricardo? Spread the word, Ricardo. I appreciate you. Spread the word, Ricardo.
I'm a big fan. I've been watching you for years.
He's still standing there. There's no business he's conducting. He should have walked away 30 seconds ago.
Since I was a little girl.
So, you've been forewarned, sir.
Ricardo, can you help us spread the word to the Sea Org members inside the cult that if they need help escaping, they can reach out to the SPTV Foundation. We have a phone number and an email address, but email address for them is probably easiest. Again, it's contact@the SPTVfoundation.org. We can help them get back to their families. We can help them get back to their home country. We can help them get a job and a place to live anywhere they want, okay? Help us spread the word, Ricardo. We're trying to help people escape from the cult, okay? I know you're cashing a paycheck, but they're not. They're making $47 a week. How much are they paying you, Ricardo?
Guys, the other reason I keep going like this, especially calmly, is because the police officers are still standing around us. I want the police officers to see that I'm not being a lunatic towards this guy. I'm not being antagonistic towards this guy. And I want them to all hear that we actually do have a foundation that helps people escape from this cult. And that we're not just a bunch of lunatics out there chalking up sidewalks every Friday. Like, we exist for a purpose. We exist for a reason. We provide real help. And I honestly, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking to myself that these police officers are going to think this is absolutely hilarious that this guy has to sit here and listen to this. Guys, it goes on for a little bit.
That's all I have to say to you.
How much are they paying you? Do the Sea Org members cook your meals?
I buy you a new jacket. You've been wearing that.
And now we don't gotta call you Joey Meatballs anymore.
Do the Sea Org members cook your meals? Do they wash your car? How much cult money are you cashing, Ricardo? Hey, maybe you can work on the inside as a double agent for us. Just keep cashing those paychecks from the cult, but help us get the word to as many Sea Org members as possible that, you know, the SPTV Foundation is here to help them escape, help them get back to their families. Some of these guys have overstayed their visas and are being trafficked for labor in the hotel. Is that something you can help us with, Ricardo? I would really appreciate it. And I'm glad you told them that it was against the law to run a generator over an overhang. That was very kind of you. Have a good day, Ricardo. Be strong, buddy. Be strong.
So I am going to do that to literally every Scientologist or Sea Org member that comes into contact with the protesters. That is my new favorite thing to do. That is my new approach. Just telling them about the foundation, offering them help escaping, asking them to help us spread the word to Sea Org members who are being trafficked for labor in many instances. And, you know, it makes it's so fun. It's so enjoyable. It's like, for me right now, it's like the best way to troll them. And it's weird, right? Because how can you troll someone by just offering a genuine offer of help? It's both. It is a genuine offer of help, and it is still master level trolling. Because even if that guy was a Sea Org member, you know, does he want help right now leaving Scientology? No, he doesn't. Would he appreciate the offer? No, he wouldn't. So making it anyway is both a genuine offer of help and trolling. And I love it, guys. That's the best of both worlds. Okay, so you saw the water cannons, you saw the plywood, you saw Joey Meatballs. Joey then came back and did the exact same trespass warning to Eyes on the State, and that got heated. And again, I feel like Joey Meatballs was like, I don't want to have to do that again. I don't want to have to do that again. The other thing that was interesting about the way they handled it this time is one of the officers then stayed behind and completed a thorough written documentation of the trespass order. Officer Banks didn't do that the last time. He trespassed me and Cheryl. He trespassed me from the Fort Harrison Hotel as a warning. He trespassed Cheryl from the flag building as a warning, even though she'd never even gone on the property, and gave us nothing in writing of any kind whatsoever. And yet Friday, not only did they make Joey do all the work, Joey Meatballs, but then they gave us something in writing. So it was a totally different experience. And we literally did have over 15 brand new young locals come and join us. Absolutely incredible. And we got rained on for the first time. So, it was so fun. We had Jamie out there. We had SP Danny out there. We had Erica, we had Farrell Cheryl, we had Dusty, we had Sarasota Jerry, and next month we'll have Sandy back as well. Even Clay Irwin, the rightful and true owner of Cardboard Tom Cruise, showed up with a friend. We had tons of people just walk by and say hi and show support. Like, it really is. And you know what's interesting, guys? More and more of the people who come by say, "Oh, you guys are the ones from TikTok," instead of even, "You guys are the ones from YouTube." TikTok must be doing a particularly good job of targeting content to geographic locals in the area, because it really is amazing how many people drove by or walked by, in addition to the ones who actually showed up to participate. That was like, "I see all your stuff on TikTok." I'm like, TikTok? I don't even upload that much to TikTok, but I have been uploading compilations of the protests to TikTok. They have been getting a ton of views, and it's been this amazing sort of a feedback mechanism of, more people show up, better content to post to TikTok, more views on TikTok, more people show up. It's absolutely fantastic. Let's see. One thing I want to plug in is also plug in as many videos as possible, because it kind of goes in line just with the concept of protesting in general, is that if you are an ex-Scientologist or a soon-to-be ex-Scientologist, and you had an experience in Scientology of physical abuse, sexual abuse, labor trafficking, anything, and you wonder if you have a case, I am going to ask you to please contact the Andrews and Thornton Law Firm. I have put a link to the law firm in the video description, and I'll pin a link in the comment down below when I'm all done. But this is a firm who's already taking on the Mormon Church for the exact same crimes that Scientology commits. I say crimes, but it's civil litigation, not criminal prosecution. This is a law firm. They're filing lawsuits. They're not prosecutors. We're not talking about criminal prosecutions at this point. But the team at Andrews and Thornton is made up of former prosecutors, and so that they are ready to take on Scientology just the way they are taking on the Mormon Church. And speaking of the Mormon Church, I did a video yesterday with the Growing Up in Polygamy channel. It was fantastic. I think our video lasted for about 2.5 hours. I don't know exactly how long it will take them to edit and post the interview, but it was a bit of a compare and contrast between Scientology and the LDS and the FLDS. And got into my story again a bit. It was a fantastic collaboration, and we'll be doing a collaboration on my channel as well. So you guys have that coming up soon. Let me see. Oh, a bit of an update. Oh, you know what? Before I go on, let me tackle some of these starred comments, since this is the type of video where I don't want to wait to do them all at the end. Renegan says, taking downtime is normal. Stamina wanes as we age. I know. I'm feeling every day of my 44 years. I don't know where y'all find the energy for as long as your protests have become. Yes. Oh, interesting. Okay. New life plan. Respect. However, you do or do not answer this. Any feedback on the Tucker Carlson and Bill Ackman back and forth on the Jeffrey Epstein situation? Only because of the Herbalife Project, I thought of you. You know, I have not seen any of the interaction between Tucker and Bill Ackman. If someone can send me a link, is this all happening on Twitter or is this happening on YouTube? If someone can send me a link, I might opine on it. Well, maybe not. I mean, you know, I used to work for Bill Ackman on the Herbalife Project. Did a lot of fantastic work. Honestly, I did a presentation with Bill Ackman in Manhattan to a bunch of investors on the research that we had done in China and Brazil and Cambodia, and we actually uncovered massive violations on behalf of Herbalife, violating the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act of operating an illegal business model in China. Herbalife was fined hundreds of millions of dollars based on the research that me and my team did into China. That was really, and so, you know, I mean, I like Bill. I had a great experience with Bill. He was always very nice and good to me. It's been interesting to see him he's always been famous on Wall Street. It's been interesting to see him become famous in the greater social and political sphere. It was interesting to see Bill on the Lex Friedman podcast. I was like, wow, how about that? So just because, I'm friendly with Bill doesn't necessarily mean I want to weigh in on political stuff. I try to stay away from any political stuff on this channel, but, and I think I probably will just stay away from it. But now I'm dying to see who's taking what side of the argument on this. So I don't know what's going on there. Okay. Kate Bryant says, will there be a protest this Friday? I will be back in Clearwater. Kate, there will most certainly be a protest this Friday. Every Friday, 5:30 to 8:30. Would love to have you there. Jennifer Arnold, have you found out any more about the legality of the stuff they put out to try and block you from doing your chalk art? Have not heard back from the police on the investigation into the legality of the plywood. I can tell you this. Scientology has removed the plywood. So are they really planning on constructing that thing every week? We'll see. And I'll give you guys an update as soon as I go through this round of starred comments. I'll give you guys an update on the investigation into my complaint against that one Scientologist who smacked me in the arm. Let's see. Constance June says, are they trying to get you all to do something like they have in other cities? Hold on. Are they trying to get you all to do something like they have in other cities? I'm not sure what that means exactly. Lady Victoria, was everybody that there was, were they all trespassed, or was it just the two of you? To the best of my knowledge, it was just me and Eyes on the State. I think I heard someone say that one of the police officers said that it applies to everyone, but you can't just say that. You actually have to give the warning to an individual. Old Frizz says, Ricky Meatballs seemed like an angry man. Yeah, I guess we could call him Ricardo Meatballs now. Ricky Meatballs. I like it. Mary James, he seemed super annoyed that you were not shaking in your beach shoes. Matt Elliott, any update on the cop that you filed a complaint on? No update. No update on that. I was asked to put a whole formal complaint together. I did put a formal complaint together in writing. I think I even did a video reading my formal complaint. I submitted that. The submission was received and acknowledged as received, and I haven't heard anything since. I also don't know if I should expect to. Like, it's not like I filed a criminal complaint against the guy. It's a complaint that basically, I guess is dealt with by internal affairs. And I just don't know whether to even expect a response. So I guess we'll find out. I'm sure someone can tell me whether I should expect a response. Renegan, I would not trust that popo for as far as I could throw him. Property lines matter. So property lines do matter, but you have to understand this property line basically goes right through what is otherwise public property. You know, it's an entryway. It's a giant entryway to a giant building. It's where people are generally expected to be walking, and to just have an imaginary line right through the sidewalk. It's one thing to say, hey, get off this property. And if they said get off this property, obviously I have to get off the property. It's another thing for the police to arrest you for standing on the wrong side of a line in a massive entryway to a building. And I think it's just one of these things of what's considered reasonable. And, you know, what's reasonable is do not go up their stairs. Like walking onto and up their stairs is a definitive line that can be, you know, not just subjective. You can't accidentally, oops, I didn't realize it was their stairs. Oops, I didn't mean to step on the stairs, especially since the stairs are far enough into the official property line that you can't just accidentally do that. And especially when the guy was straight up crystal clear with me. He's like, look, I'm telling you, we're not going to do anything unless you step on the stairs, and then we basically will have no choice. And I appreciate it. I felt like he was like, you know, even being like, we're giving you this little buffer way so that when the time comes, you can't say you didn't know. I'd be like, fair. I appreciate it. Okay. Tracy Murphy question. Did you see Snotty's sister went on a live panel and spoke negatively about him? Boss Talks podcast is the channel. I did hear about it. I watched it for about 3 minutes and then I got bored and I turned it off. So, it seems like Snotty's pretty much taken himself out pretty quickly here. And, yeah. I'm sure he was not happy about that. By the way, I saw a whole bunch of speculation about whether Snotty has been arrested. And there's no evidence that he has. Let me just check real quick to see if there's been any sign of life. What's interesting is that even with the speculation that he has been arrested, there has been nothing put out from him to indicate that he has not been arrested. So who knows what's going on with that? But I'm sure we will hear about it soon enough. Constance June says, I would just leave that stuff there and chalk around it. It's not worth it. So I agree. It's not worth trying to move the plywood. That's not worth it. And we did chalk around it, but I think it is worth pursuing the illegality of them putting it there in the first place. Like if it's illegal, they shouldn't get away with it. And if it's legal, we should be able to find out. Renee Noel, Aaron, you looked amazing in your beach gear. Thank you. Thank you. And you know what? What a happy coincidence that it's the first time we ever got rained on, and it rained like cats and dogs for like an hour and a half straight. And we just happened to be wearing beach attire. Like, cause if I was out there with my sneakers and my sweatpants and my Under Armour shirt, I would not have stayed out there in the rain. But I'm out there with a Hawaiian shirt and water socks and board shorts and a giant hat that's protecting me from the rain. What a happy accident that it worked out that way. I was so happy. SJ, God, they are so weird. They think this is a win when it just looks insane. Old Frizz, Aaron, I don't think you need to even bother chalking on their emblem. There's loads of sidewalk space directly in front of it. So you are correct. The reason to chalk on the emblem would be because it drives them nuts and we can legally do it. And that is, in my opinion, as protesters, kind of what we're there for. We're there to go right up to the limit of what the law allows us to do. This is a family destroying international human trafficking cult. And the least we can do is annoy them as much as we are legally allowed to, while also getting out the word about the SPTV Foundation as much as we can. So it's one of the reasons I'm trying to get them to turn on their water cannons so I can see exactly where that water hits, so I can decide where to put our water barriers so that we can then strategize our art projects from there. Constance June, what they are creating with all that stuff and water looks like a liability to me. Exactly. I would also like to put out a call, a bat signal, if you will, to any people close to Clearwater who are actually wheelchair bound. I would be really interested to see how the police respond to someone in a wheelchair being impeded by Scientology's illegally constructed semi-permanent structure on a public sidewalk. They simply don't have the right to block the public access like that. And I sort of get the sense that, the Clearwater Police just isn't used to having as much attention on them as, like, for example, the LAPD, So the Clearwater Police, it's kind of like, I'll give you an example. There was one conversation that happened when the police was there, where I think it was Eyes on the State pointed out that, like, they have this water running combined with this, plywood obstacle. Like, it looks like it'd be a really huge slip and fall risk. And the cop was like, well, since you have observed that, and since you have communicated that, it would probably be a good idea to stay away from the area. And, the Eyes on the State was like, hold on, that's not my point. My point is, like, you're a public servant. This is this obstacle here poses a danger to the public. Are you really going to do nothing just because someone hasn't yet slipped, just because someone isn't yet being impeded? Like, you can see it with your own eyes. And yet the cop's response was like, well, if it's dangerous, stay away. And it was like, that's not, I feel like that's not the response you would normally give, or that's not response you would give if you were used to having these things, having bright lights shined on them. Anyway, that's just, I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but okay. Mary James says, Joey really thought he was doing something there. Erica says, I can't hear you because our protesting is so effective with the honking. I know. It's one of the reasons when I'm doing the live stream, I try to keep the camera on some of those honk signs as much as possible. Because I'm always worried that if someone joins the live stream and they hear all the cars honking, that people are going to think the cars are honking at the protesters instead of with the protesters. And that it sounds like maybe we're blocking the street or something and we're creating some sort of a traffic hazard. But it's so cool to, like, know that all that honking you hear, that is people supporting what we are doing out there. Sherry Gold, welcome as a new channel member. Congratulations. Sharona, I just can't get over how pitifully ridiculous that contraption over the public half of their logo looks. Easily removable chalk versus a monstrosity of uneven wood and metal sheeting is so demented. It is so silly, especially since they've so clearly shown how easily the chalk comes up with water. Even the rain, like, it rained a lot. I'm sure you guys saw it. By the end of the night, the rain had basically washed away all of our chalk. I think it just pisses David Miscavige off to think that we're out there having our way with their emblem and broadcasting it to the internet. I feel like he must think it sets, like, a really bad precedent. Because, they didn't cover up the rest of it. That, they covered up the half of the emblem, but all the other space around the emblem is still their property. And we still chalked it all up. So, like, what was it specifically about the emblem that they're trying to cover it up? I don't know. It just feels like it's pushing Dave's buttons or something. Constance June, first time I have seen Scientology have to deliver the message. Yeah. Cheryl says, I could see the glue parts on his wig. Are you guys kidding? Do you really think that's a wig? It didn't even occur to me that Ricardo Meatballs is wearing a wig. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Eat More Pizza Now. Wigs by Temu. Old Frizz, I loved how you kept on at him about the foundation. Eagle Brett, what is the pin on his lapel? I almost zoomed in on that pin. It's just some security badge pin. I'll zoom in on it next time. Constance June, Cheryl did a good job talking to one of the police while he walked back to the hotel. Oh, yeah. Rue says, off topic, but did you ever cover that illegal watch dude that went to the Grant Cardone events? No, I don't think I ever did a video about that. Erica says, the cops are waiting politely, like you are saying a prayer over him. They respectfully don't want to interrupt. I love it. Church of Satiretology. Even Ricardo seems fed up having to be security for the cult. Yes. There's Jen Kessler. Okay, give me 1 second here. Give me 1 second. I see you on StreamYard, but I'm trying to find you on YouTube real quick. Scrolling. Oh, there you are. There you are. Okay, almost there, guys. Okay. There you go, Jen. Now you're a moderator as well. Jen says, I love, oh wait, did I already do that earlier? No. Okay. I love when Aaron cracks himself up, makes it even more fun. Northern Girl, I love when you get the word out like that, Aaron. Thank you so much. Matt Elliott, any update on the YouTube granting SPTV for direct donations? I mean, the update is there is no update, and it's only because I haven't worked on it in a few weeks. To just reiterate the problem. So there's something called the YouTube for nonprofits. Is that what it's called? YouTube for nonprofits. Hold on. YouTube for, I feel like that's not exactly what it's called, but is it? The YouTube nonprofit program. Is that what it's called? Oh, it's called Google for nonprofits. There's a program that Google offers called Google for nonprofits, and they offer a bunch of Google services to nonprofits for free. The first time I went through the process of applying for the YouTube giving program, I thought I was applying for the YouTube giving program. What I was actually applying for was the Google for nonprofits. Now, and then I was approved and activated and all that kind of stuff. Once you are approved for the Google for nonprofits program, you can then apply specifically for the YouTube giving program, which I then did. And the last time I did this, it literally took like 1 or 3 days to get full approval. So what I have been being told is I keep getting a response that says, you cannot yet be approved for the YouTube giving program because you have not yet been approved for Google for nonprofits. And then I go back and forth with the support person and I say, listen, I'm not objecting to what you're saying is a prerequisite. Like, I'm not being like, that's not fair. I'm saying the SPTV Foundation is already approved and activated for all the products of Google for nonprofits. And they go, well, that's not what it shows on our end. And I go, I will send you whatever you need me to send you. I'll send you screenshots. I'll send you my dashboard. I'll send you my profile. I'll send you all the activated products. I'll send you whatever I got to send you. And eventually they'll be like, okay, good. Send us a screenshot of this. I'll be like, here it is. Send me a screenshot of this. I'll go, here it is. Send me a screenshot of this. I go, here it is. And they go, you're right. It looks like you've been approved for Google for nonprofits. Let me escalate this to the internal team and we'll try to get word back. I'm like, thank you so much. Thank you. And then I'll get just an email being like, please refer back to the previous emails you've received on this. And the last time I went back and forth with YouTube support on this, they said, we will no longer be responding to any requests about this issue. Essentially them saying, we've already told you how to handle this. You keep wasting our time by coming back to us and asking us for the answer that we've already given you. And I go, I don't know how to proceed. It's not that I'm objecting to what you're telling me. It's I'm telling you on my end, it looks like I've already done the thing that you're telling me to do. Can someone please show me what I'm missing? Can someone, I clearly must have misunderstood something because everyone over at Google can't be completely ridiculous. Okay. And I go, I literally said, I'm not trying to like object to the idea that I need to do something else. I'm telling you, I literally have no idea what I can do to fix this when on my end, I've already done the thing you're telling me to do. And so I feel like I'm simply going to have to go back to YouTube and start from scratch. You know, I do have a dedicated support person, but all that means is not that I really have a dedicated support person. It means that in my YouTube studio, there's a button I can press. Let me see. It literally says chat with creator support. And I can get onto a live chat with someone that half the time seems like it's an AI bot. And I can try this process again from scratch. But it's very, very frustrating. And it's not like, you know, it's not like I don't take it personally either. Like I have seen some of the biggest channels on YouTube talking about their frustrations at ever being able to get something actually taken care of at YouTube. Channels 10, 20, 50 times bigger than mine. So I don't really take any of this personally, but it is incredibly frustrating, especially since we are helping people and we do need more money. And yet it's like, It's so much more effective and efficient to be able to do a live stream where there's just a button that says donate instead of asking people to go to the website and donate. But anyway, if you want to support the foundation, please do. We could probably use about $10,000 or $15,000 right now. I mean, we'll be fine. We'll be fine even without an extra 10, 15. But it'll be really tight is what I'm saying. It'll be really tight. Okay, let's see. Oh, that's right. We're doing starred comments. Jill Davidson. Thank you so much. Vinny 98 NYC. People film Scientology in New York too. Yes. I mean, particularly in New York, I usually see Manning and Cubs champion. Cubs has to take a timeout for a little bit until the clock is ticking on his Scientology injunction or whatever it is. But is there any other than Manning 18? Is there anyone regularly streaming outside New York org? If there is, I'm not aware of one, but it's possible. Lori Marie. So the feds raided the TikTok cult in California for trafficking. Still will not touch Scientology. What is the TikTok cult? I'm out of the loop on that one. Elston Gunn, so good to see you, Elston. Awesome job, Aaron and the rest of the Clearwater crew. Thank you so much. Erica says the planks were so much worse than anything we could do with the chalk. Biting off their nose to spite their face. Isn't that the saying? That's right. Cut off his nose to spite their face. Yeah, it's true. Like at first it was like, oh no, they're preventing us from chalking up their emblem, and it's like, yeah, they covered up their own damn emblem. Like, look what we made you do. Magnus, what are the laws in Florida concerning wastewater? It's almost a certainty. I know Erica has pulled up some of the statutes. It is almost certainly a violation for them to keep their water running for the 3 hours that we're out there on the Friday evening, but it's not like it's a criminal offense. You know what I mean? Like Scientology's more than happy to take the fine if that's what it comes down to, you know? Constance June says, sorry, the Scientologist trying to get you. Oh, Scientologists trying to get you to go mess with their property on purpose so they can complain to officials. You know, there's certainly like, I get your question. Are they trying to basically goad us into doing something to them or their property that they can take criminal action or legal action against us for? For sure, that's their wish. That's like the top of their wish list. They would love for a protester to accidentally bump into a Scientologist or something. I believe it is why you'll notice the Scientologists that walk closely by us are almost 2-1 elderly or disabled. And I think that's on purpose. I think they are trying to get us to run up to that person and do or say something that they can claim is harassing an elderly person or harassing a disabled person or something like this. And we don't take the bait. We steer clear. We leave them alone. Kiara Kayak says the water barriers were genius. Yes, I can't wait to actually put them to really good use. And again, thank you so much to those of you. I received 3 separate shipments of the water dams. And that's in addition to the green ones that very generous viewer sent me, which are just a different type of product. Like water dam is like the official name of one of the water barrier products. And so I got 3 entire sets of water dams, and water dams can, each bucket of the water dam barriers come with 5 10-foot barriers. Okay. So I now have 15 separate 10-foot barriers in addition to the shorter set of green ones. So that's a lot. So that's why I'm going to take those off of the wish list. So thank you again for that. Lori plays. So good to see you in here, Lori. You have the right to ask about the status of your complaint. Okay, this is the internal affairs complaint. I would reach out about 2 weeks after your initial complaint. Awesome. That's very helpful. Thank you, Lori. I appreciate that. Church of Satiretology. Aaron, how much disruption do you think the protest causes for Scientology, who try to prevent public members from seeing the protest and chalk art? The answer, a lot of disruption. And the Scientologists themselves, the public members, even become aware of this. Here's a perfect example of how this happens. So 2 weeks ago, Sarasota Jerry showed up wearing an outfit that could easily be confused as perhaps something a Sea Org member would wear. As Jerry was walking towards the flag building, the Sea Org security guard basically said, hey, come this way instead so that you don't have to run into the protesters. And he was going to escort Jerry behind the flag building and into the flag building. And Jerry said, I am one of those protesters. He was like, oh, my pearls. Okay. Okay. On Friday, Mindy showed up maybe an hour and a half or maybe 2 hours into the protest. And, she showed up just wearing normal clothes that a public Scientologist might wear. And once again, one of the Scientology security guards tried to escort her away, an alternate route into the flag building. So they did not need to go by all the protesters. So I'm using these as examples because even public Scientologists are basically being made aware of the protests by Sea Org security guards being like, you don't want to go near the protesters. By the way, I should actually, some local under the radar Scientologist sent me a message about what people are being told. I will not screen share this, obviously, but it was, okay. The word in the Scientology community is that people who are against the church are spray painting on the beautiful Italian mosaic. And these are just people who have nothing better to do on a Friday night than to harass a group that they don't know anything about. Okay. There you go. Okay. Lori Marie says, maybe surprise them on a Tuesday or a Thursday and chalk away. Maybe. That does seem to be our only option. So, yeah. Poppy the Boxer, Vanessa, I would love to go to Clearwater to test my wheelchair around their obstacles. Yes. You guys might have noticed, they have stopped running the generator in the front of the hotel. It turns out it is a violation of fire codes and OSHA regulations to run a generator underneath an overhang. And that's exactly what they were doing. They've stopped doing that. I did file personally a written complaint to OSHA. They have also stopped parking cars in front of the Fort Harrison. Now that's an interesting one. I didn't expect them to stop doing that. And yet 2 Fridays ago, when they didn't have any cars parked there, I still parked my car out there and they didn't ask the police to do anything about it. I don't know what to make of that. Okay. Nick TT. The neighbors upstairs leaked water in my unit. They hired a company, Disaster Recovery Pros, wanted me to sign a crazy contract, could sue me for a bad review, social media post. Come to find out, Scientology owned Jill and Sean Wise. I know Sean Wise. Let me pull up Facebook and see if it's who I am thinking of. Sean Wise. Let's see if we got Clearwater. Lives in St. Petersburg. 2 mutual friends. Well, that's not who I was thinking. But the truth is, there could be more than one Sean Wise. Let's see. Who are our mutual friends? Oh, no, this guy's definitely not a Scientologist. Meaning the Sean Wise that I'm looking at is definitely not a Scientologist. I'll tell you what. Nick TT, can you email me a link to any of the material, any of the material online that I can see to make sure it's the real Sean Wise that I'm remembering and the right company? I would appreciate it. Thank you so much. Kevin Conklin, protesting in the rain while in beach gear, winning. Constance June, is Google attaching the SPTV Foundation to that faux page? No way of knowing. No way of knowing. Erica, since there is no drought, they're not really taking complaints seriously, but normally they could get a fine. Okay, that makes sense. Funny Hat Blue. Well, thank you for being a channel member for 16 months. Funny Hat Blue. Have you ever heard of Scientology creating a fake relationship and a fake marriage for someone? Only John Travolta. That's a joke. No, I'm not aware of that. I mean, unless you're talking about for immigration purposes, but I don't, like, depends on what you mean by a fake marriage. So I think there was a time at the Flagland base when there was a whole bunch of Sea Org members whose visas were set to expire. And if I'm not mistaken, there might have been a staff meeting or two where people were encouraged to pick the most eligible bachelor and get married so that these Sea Org members could stay on the base and not have to go home. But other than that, I would generally say no. But if there are specific examples that you're wondering about, I might be able to give a better answer. David Acacia, Ricardo, the closet queen, had to wear a mask. Oh, I'm sorry. All right, that was a little rude, but it wasn't me. Okay, let's see. Oh, update. Yes. Update on the complaint that I made against the Scientologist who smacked me in the arm. And reminder, guys, just to be clear, I normally wouldn't give two shits about some Scientology lady smacking me in the arm. But considering this is while at the same time that, we were being threatened with arrest for putting chalk on a public sidewalk, it was important to me to see if the Clearwater Police would take actual physical violence by Scientologists against protesters as seriously as they would take the non-violence of putting water washable chalk on a public sidewalk. Okay, so let's see. The guy. So this started out by contacted by several local people, ironically, not even Scientologists, who knew not the woman's name, but the name of the man that was walking behind her. And it turns out that the man who was walking behind her is a local OT8 Scientologist named Jerry Gordon. Okay. And it turns out that Jerry Gordon is the sales trainer at a local Scientologist owned and operated company called Postcard Mania, run by Joy Gendusa. I myself used to work at Postcard Mania. Then one of the people who very helpfully identified Jerry said, by the way, pretty sure the woman in front of him is his wife. And that woman also had a very obvious Afrikaans, South African accent. And doing a little bit of sleuthing, I was able to verify that the woman really is Jerry Gordon's wife. And her name is Diane De Jong Gordon. I actually don't know how to pronounce this South African name. It's spelled Dejongh. Is that De Jong? De Jong? So Diane De Jong Gordon. And they live locally. And so the detective investigating this case had called me last week and tried to set up a time to meet up. And I was a little scared because I was like, what the hell do we have to meet up for? I filed the complaint. You can give me any updates over the phone. I don't need to come down anywhere. And then I called him back a bunch of times, couldn't reach him. Turns out he was out of town. He called me again today, wanting me to come down. I was like, what do I got to come down for? And he goes, technically we did our interview. I wrote the report, but I actually need you to put something into writing as to what your report is. And I was like, what do you want me to come down there and write it out by hand? And he's like, well, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Like, I don't even have a printer. Like, I will type it up. I will email it to you. You can print it off and then I will come down and sign it. And that's where we're at on this. Cause I asked him specifically, I said, hey, did you identify the woman? And he goes, yes. By the way, I also already texted the detective everything that I'm sharing with you guys right now. I said, did you verify the identity of the woman? He said, yes. I said, so is anything happening? And he goes, well, that's why I need you to put it in writing so that we can take the next step. I was like, okay, been a couple weeks, but fine. I'll accept that. That's where we're at. And so it's moving forward. I mean, I don't expect anything major to happen, but what I do expect to happen is that at least whatever the proper legal procedure is will get carried out. And Scientology, I think, will be very aggressive in keeping their people away from us. And that's a good thing. That is a good thing. Okay, let's see. Oh, Dave's Deep Dives. Oh, you're Dutch. Not Danish. Not Danish. Okay, so there's some mystery. There's some mysterious Danish supporter who sent me a big old pack of water dam water dam barriers, and I don't know who you are because the name wasn't on there. Okay, but thank you for clarifying that, Dave's Deep Dives. I appreciate it, and I apologize for getting the Dutch mixed up with the Danish. I hope you will forgive me. And thank you for being a channel member for 16 months. That is super, super awesome. Let's see. What else? What else? I did the battery complaint. How about a little bit of a Hulk Hogan update? How about a little bit of a Hulk Hogan update? I've been speaking with some people who have intimate knowledge of the situation. By the way, in my video, I did a video about Hulk Hogan dying. And in that video, I said, you know what? I noticed in one of the videos posted to TikTok, it looked like Brooke Hogan was standing outside of her father's house while he was being taken to the ambulance. And I said, you know, if there's any silver lining to any of this, it would be that it seems like Brooke had an opportunity to at least maybe put some things to rest between her and her dad before he passed, and that would be a silver lining. It turns out, guys, I was wrong. Brooke was not in Clearwater, and Brooke actually has not had any communication with her father since before Hulk Hogan's wedding to Scientologist Sky Daly. It also turns out that I was wrong when I speculated that I sort of doubted Hulk had a bunch of money even left over. He'd been so busy these last couple of years, traveling everywhere, promoting everything. You know, he's got his karaoke obligations at Hogan's Hangout every week. And I'm like, I'm not sure a dude that age and that rich is working that hard for no reason. Well, it turns out Hulk still has a lot of pretty pennies left over. And it also turns out, you're not going to believe this, guys, no prenup. No prenuptial agreement between Hulk Hogan and Sky Daly. Tell me Scientology is not so excited to get their dirty little hands on Hulk Hogan's leftover money. I even heard that Hulk Hogan had just recently purchased an $8 million property on the south side of Clearwater Beach when he already had the big house on the north side of Clearwater Beach, and then even had the house next door where they would let Sky's children live in the house next door while Sky and the Hulk lived in the big house on El Dorado, north of Clearwater Beach. So yeah, bad news all around. Bad news all around. But, you know, one thing that someone pointed out to me is that as bad as this is, as ridiculous as this is, it's what Hulk Hogan chose. So, like, he kind of made this bed. How stupid do you have to be on your third marriage? You know, you're marrying this obvious gold digger who just weeks before the engagement you were trying to get rid of. And actually, I'll tell you this, guys. I'll tell you this. Hulk Hogan wanted to break up with Sky Daly and literally confided to some people around him that he couldn't. He said, if I broke up with her, it would be really bad, about what Sky would say or do to retaliate against Hulk Hogan. And so imagine someone as rich and famous as Hulk Hogan feeling trapped in a relationship to the point where not only can he not get rid of her, but then he marries her without a prenup. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Hulk Hogan apparently never even took the time to meet his brand new grandbabies, his two grandbabies. Just a shame. Just a shame. It seems like once he married Sky, for some reason, she was able to get him to go out there and work his ass off in a way that he should not have had to do and was not conducive to his health. And he ended up being surrounded by people who just didn't have his own personal best interests and his what was best for his own health in mind. And that's a shame. It's a shame, but he's a grown-ass man, and it's the life he chose, and it's the decisions he made. So it's hard to really have any pity or sympathy for him, as unfortunate as it is. You know, the videos that I did about Scientology and Sky's parents, and Sky was really be like, it was the best I could do to warn Hulk Hogan that you do not want to be involved with this organization and people who are dedicated to this organization and people who are under the control of this organization. This organization is going to spy on you. They're going to try to get dirt on you. Even if they don't want you as a member, they at least want you as an ally. They most certainly want your money. And, you know, the warnings fell on deaf ears. So again, he sort of made that bed, and unfortunately, it's the bed he died in. As terrible as that is, it's just the truth. Okay, Rib Guy, great to see you, Rib Guy, and thank you as well for being a channel member for 16 months. Violations of court order, please send to me. Thank you. Sounds like you're talking about Snotty. Otherwise, okay. Magic Nomadic, Sky's sister Blaze lives up the street from me. Oh my God, I always forget that she has a sister, especially a sister named Blaze. Sounds like she could have been in the WWE. Not a YouTuber says, what is the lawyer company looking for victims? Okay, I'll show you that. I'll show that again. It is Andrews and Thornton. I always want to say Thornton. Is the N silent? I feel like the N isn't silent, but I can't bring myself to stick it in there. So Andrews and Thornton, that's how you say it. Andrews and Thornton. And let me go here. The two lawyers that have been publicly talking about the lawsuits against the Mormon Church and publicly talking about taking on cases against Scientology is the managing partner, Ann Andrews, as well as associate attorney and former Riverside County prosecutor, Kimberly Degonia. They are both absolute superstars and some of the leading legal experts on the Child Abuse and Neglect Reporting Act, and also experts on the subject of how religious organizations like the Mormon Church and Scientology, how their systems of creating a closed group, a closed environment where members are prohibited from reporting crimes to outside authorities, that these organizations benefit financially and reputationally, and in terms of membership, they actually benefit by preventing people from reporting child sex crimes, and that is sex trafficking. That sex trafficking is not just what you might popularly think of like some secret prostitution ring, but organizationally benefiting by preventing members from reporting sex crimes is sex trafficking. And that was a huge shock and news to me when I first heard Kimberly Degonia explain this on an episode of the Mormon Stories podcast. And this is the basis of at least like 30 lawsuits that this firm has brought, both in state court and in federal court, against the Mormon Church. And I got to tell you, I've said this a million times, I'll say it a million more. Any law firm prepared to take on the Mormon Church for offenses such as these, the Mormon Church has lost more money in its couch cushions than Scientology could ever hope to have. And whereas, I don't know, perhaps Scientology attorneys and perhaps David Miscavige's, the David Miscavige-led Scientology legal strategy, perhaps it's a little more aggressive and in your face than the Mormon Church. I don't know. Any firm, any attorney willing to take on the Mormon Church, in my opinion, taking on Scientology is a walk in the park. You know, sure, Scientology is going to send some more mean tweets. Sure, they're probably going to use private investigators a little more than, I don't know. Does the Mormon Church do that kind of stuff? Does the Mormon Church unleash private investigators against attorneys and plaintiffs in lawsuits? I don't know. I've never heard that, but I'm not sure that I would have heard that. So anyway, I'm so hopeful. I'm so hopeful about what the future holds in terms of litigation against Scientology. And one more time, it's Andrews and Thornton. They do have an intake form. They've got a contact button up here. They've got an intake form. I think that's me encouraging people to fill out the intake form is probably better than me encouraging people to directly email Kim. So that's my advice is going to be use the contact form. Okay, Constance June. Some celebrities always have to be around people. They feed off of the celebrity status. This must have been referring to something that was being discussed. He was afraid of dying alone. Oh, you're talking about Hulk Hogan. Some celebrities, Hulk Hogan, have to be around people. They feed off celebrity status. You are correct. However, Hulk was not doing all of those things before he got married to Sky. Anti-cult. Home health works in Clearwater is the Minkoffs. Is it really? Let me check it out. Home health works Clearwater Minkoff. Home health works. Okay. About us. What is this place? Certified nursing using RNs and LPNs. Are you sure this is the Minkoffs? Companionship, financial risk reduction, live-in care, personal care and homemaking, respite support, short and long-term care, skilled nursing. Okay, I would double check that, folks. I don't see anything on the website that obviously links them to the Minkoffs, but I can't say one way or the other. Okay, Shant Merkian. Have you ever been arrested for protesting in front of the church building? No, never been arrested. I got arrested for protesting in front of the Scientology building on Hollywood Boulevard in LA, but technically speaking, I wasn't arrested for protesting. And the LAPD said afterwards I wasn't really arrested. Obviously, I was confused. I thought when they put me in handcuffs, read me my Miranda rights, put me in a police car, took me down to the station, chained me to a bench for 4 hours, and then I could have sworn I was arrested, but clearly I was confused. They said I was merely detained for questioning. That's interesting because they didn't actually ask me any questions. Steffi T. The Ricardo conversation was wild, but I loved you telling him about the SPTV Foundation. Thank you. Time Arc says, everyone needs to watch that podcast with those ladies. They seem like badass women who will not be fazed by nonsense Scientology can ever do. Yes. I wish I knew the exact title of the podcast, but it was the Mormon Stories podcast. And you know what? Let me make a little note. I'm going to try to find the podcast and I'll pin it in the comment below. Find the Mormon Stories podcast with Kim Dagonia. All right, we'll do that. Itchy Thetans, that is such a huge message the firm brought to light about the closed loop system. This subject has been in my For You more recently. Yeah, I get it. Erica says, yes, the founder is. Oh, it says the founder is Minkoff on the homepage. Interesting. Oh, let me just search the homepage for the word Minkoff. How about that? Oh, caring for people like family. Home Health Works was founded by Sue Minkoff in 1992 on the principle that quality care extends beyond medical attention. It requires treating patients as if they were family. Wow. Look at this. Let me punch in this address and see where the heck this is. Turner Street. Turner Street is right. That's the same street that the Publix downtown is on, right? They're on Turner and Missouri. God, they're right there, huh? Wow, I never even knew about this place. Wow. Okay. That's good info. Thank you, guys. Constance June. Oh, Hogan had the Minkoffs. That is sad. Wait a second. Am I missing something in the live chat? Is there some evidence that Hulk Hogan was working with Home Health Works? Has someone said that? Okay, we're not sure. Okay. Terry Hoban. Yes, that Mormon Stories podcast was a must watch. I mean, I think I personally listened to it like 3 times, and it's a long ass podcast. It might be 3 hours long, and I listened to it at least 3 times through. Okay, guys, I think that is it for now. Again, thank you so much to everyone who's been so generous in sending protest supplies, the chalk, the spray chalk, the holly powder. It's absolutely amazing. And keep sending as much as anyone is willing to send, because those consumables, we go through them quickly. I'm going to take the water barriers off of the wish list. Thank you to everyone, all the locals who've been coming out and showing your support and participating and helping. Please show up as often as you can. We're out there every Friday night, and yeah, we're going to keep doing it. We will be out there every Friday night. All right, guys, thank you for hanging out with me. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not, subscribe right here. Bye.